Elena Ward never planned to fall for anyone, least of all a man whose world looked nothing like hers. She lived quietly, carefully, in the soft corners of life, where nothing dramatic happened and nothing ever exploded beneath her feet. She liked stability, predictability, safety, which is why she should have never walked into Lennox Gray's office. It began on a fog-heavy morning when the city felt muted, wrapped in a gray hush. Elna stood outside the towering glass structure of Gray Dynamics, clutching her small canvas tote and the resume she'd rewritten at least 7 times. She wasn't here for anything big. She wasn't here to change her life. She just needed a job, something stable, something steady, something that could help her pay off her student loans and keep her tiny apartment from slipping through her fingers. That was it, just a job. But the universe had a cruel sense of humor. When she reached the top floor after 3 security checks and a receptionist who looked like she'd been carved from marble, Elena expected to meet a hiring manager, not the CEO himself. She didn't know it was him at first. The door was open, the lights were warm, and a man stood by the window, back turned, his silhouette sharp against the skyline. Tall, impossibly still. Not the kind of stillness that felt peaceful, but the kind that carried storms behind it. "Come in," he said without looking back. Elena stepped inside, confused but obedient. I'm sorry, I thought I was here to meet Ms. Kitteridge." "You are," the man replied. "She's running late. Sit." His voice was deep, smooth, but edged with something powerful, something dangerous. Elena lowered herself into a chair, heart tapping at her ribs. She should have looked away, focused on her notes, anything but she couldn't stop glancing at him. When he finally turned, her breath caught. His eyes, dark steel gray, found hers with a clarity that made her feel stripped to her bones. His face held the kind of symmetry that didn't seem real outside of magazines. Sharp jaw, defined cheekbones, a mouth that looked like it wasn't accustomed to kindness, but could offer it in rare, devastating moments. He studied her, not the way men usually looked, not with hunger, not with charm, but with curiosity, like he was trying to solve her. "What's your name?" he asked. "Elena Ward," she whispered. He repeated her name slowly, quietly, as if the sound meant something to him, as if it echoed somewhere inside him. Before she could ask who he was, Ms. Kitteridge rushed in, flustered. "Mr. Gray, my apologies. Traffic was a nightmare." Elena froze. Mr. Gray, as in Lennox Gray, as in the billionaire CEO, she had read about online, the phantom businessman who rarely gave interviews, never appeared at company parties, and lived in near-mythical privacy. The man who built empires and ruined competitors with a single decision. The man people feared. The man people respected. The man nobody truly knew. Yet he had spoken to her first. While Miss Kitteridge began the formal interview, Elena tried focusing on the questions, but her senses kept drifting toward the silent presence leaning against the windowsill. He didn't interrupt. He didn't comment. He just watched her answers with an intensity that felt like he could see through every polite facade she tried to maintain. And the strangest part? The longer he looked at her, the calmer she felt, as if he wasn't dissecting her, as if he wasn't judging her, as if he was drawn to her. Half an hour passed, the questions wrapped up. Miss Kitteridge nodded, scribbling something on her notepad. "We'll review your application and be in contact," she said. Elena stood, smoothing her blouse nervously. "Thank you both for your time." Lennox's eyes followed her to the door, but he didn't speak, didn't nod, didn't offer any expression she could decipher. She left feeling foolish. Why would a billionaire CEO even notice her? She was nobody, just another applicant, just another ordinary person. Yet as soon as she exited the floor, Lennox spoke quietly to Ms. Kitteridge. "Hire her." "She lacks some of the, I said hire her." Ms. Kitteridge blinked. "Yes, sir." Elena got the call that same afternoon. She returned the next morning, nerves gripping every part of her. Her role executive junior assistant was small on the organizational chart, but big enough to terrify her. Her first day was a whirlwind of orientation papers, office tours, and task assignments. She didn't even see Lennox again until after lunch, when she stepped into the elevator alone and the doors slid open to reveal him inside. They stopped, both of them, like time paused between their fingertips. "Oh, I'm sorry," Elena stammered. "Come in," he said. She stepped inside, the small space suddenly too warm, too quiet, too charged. His cologne lingered clean, dark, expensive, something she'd never smelled before. He didn't look at her at first. He didn't need to. She felt him. Halfway down the descent, he finally spoke. "Do you like the job so far?" She swallowed. I'm still learning." "That wasn't my question." His voice had a gravity to it, soft but inescapable. "I think I'll like it," she said honestly. "It feels important." His eyes shifted toward her then, slowly, deliberately. "Good," he said. The elevator doors opened, but before she stepped out, Lennox said something that made her blood turn to quiet fire. "Elena," she turned back. "Yes, there are things about me," he murmured, "that are better left undiscovered." Her breath stilled. He held her gaze steadily, intensely. "But you seem like the kind of woman who will look anyway." And then he walked away, leaving her with a question she wasn't ready to face. What kind of billionaire warns a woman before she even begins to fall? Elena barely slept that night. She replayed his words again and again, each repetition threading deeper into her thoughts. There are things about me that are better left undiscovered. Normal people didn't say things like that. Billionaires with spotless public images definitely didn't say things like that. And yet, he hadn't sounded threatening. He hadn't sounded arrogant. He'd sounded almost haunted. The next morning, Elena arrived early, hoping work would distract her. But distraction was impossible when her new desk sat 3 doors away from Lennox Gray's private office. She kept her head down, burying herself in spreadsheets and correspondence requests. Hours passed without a single glimpse of him, and part of her felt relieved. The other part felt restless. Around noon, she was delivering updated quarterly projections to the finance team when the head of security approached her. "Ms. Ward, Mr. Gray would like to see you." Her heart lurched. "Me?" "Yes, immediately." She followed him down the hall, pulse thundering. When the door to Lennox's office opened, she stepped inside slowly, unsure what she'd find. He was there standing behind his desk, jacket off, sleeves rolled to his forearms, the faintest tension in his posture. "Elena," he said without looking up, "close the door." She did. He finally lifted his eyes to her, and something about the way he studied her made her chest tighten like he'd been thinking about her too. "I assume you're wondering about yesterday," he said quietly. She nodded, her throat dry. "You made it sound like a warning." It was. He circled the desk slowly, stopping only a few feet from her. "You're perceptive, Elena, too perceptive for your own good." I just started working here, she whispered. What could I possibly perceive? His jaw flexed. More than you realize. He walked to the windows, staring out at the skyline like it was the only thing holding him together. There are people who think they know me, he said. Investors, board members, journalists. His voice darkened. They know nothing. Elena hesitated. You don't have to tell me anything. I'm just an assistant. That made him turn. No, he said softly. You're not. He took one step toward her, then another, until his presence wrapped around her in a way that made her breath catch. You walked into my office yesterday, he murmured, and for the first time in years, I felt something shift. Something I shouldn't feel. Something I cannot afford. Her pulse thundered. Lennox, she whispered. He shook his head once, tightly. I can't pull you into my world. It's not safe. Safe from what? He didn't answer. Instead, he reached out, not touching her, just letting his fingers hover near her wrist, close enough that she felt the warmth of him like a quiet flame. There are things about me, he said again, voice low and aching, that could hurt you, destroy you, not because I want them to, but because I can't escape them. Elena held his gaze. I don't scare easily, she said softly. Something broke across his expression, not relief, not surrender. Something closer to inevitability. You should, he whispered. But Elena didn't step back. And that was the moment Lennox Gray knew whatever secret he was trying to protect her from was already pulling her deeper into his world.